Yeah.
Come on.
Having driven this facelifted Isuzu MU-X earlier this year when it made its debut during the 2025 Manila International Auto Show, it's about time that we have this again on the channel. Special thanks to Isuzu Philippines for lending me out this 2025 Isuzu MU-X LSE 4x4. Yes, we have now the 4x4 version on the channel, having driven the pre-facelifted model 4x2 version around last year. I said my thoughts about the look during the quick dive of this during that event, and it still remains the same. But having lived with this for more than a week now, the looks actually has grown on me because yes, they followed the generic design language of being so aggressive with today's cars. But for this MU-X, it actually works. Compared to the puffy looks of last year, this, in my opinion only, has more presence on the road, especially in this gray color. Along with its aggressive front looks, you get an array of LED lights. What remains the same though, you have a ground clearance of 235mm and a weighting depth of 800mm, which is around this also perfect for driving around in the floods, no pun intended. On the side profile, the design and shape remains particularly the same, but there are just subtle changes. Like, for example, you still get the same 20-inch wheels, but there's been like additional blades now on the spokes itself, and then you still get the same repeaters with cameras underneath. And what remains the same with this facelifted MU-X is this ever-reliable, durable, and probably bulletproof 3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine that produces 187 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque, mated still to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And probably my driving impressions would be the same, but please bear with me. And what I like about this engine transmission combo, this still remains one of the most fuel-efficient PPVs that you can buy. And for the rear for this facelifted Isuzu MU-X, well, there are just few subtle changes. Following the trend now, you get this long gloss black bar. But nitpick of mine, I wish this was a full LED light bar. But again, I don't mind this new set compared to the pre-facelift because they look really futuristic in my opinion. And like before, the entire rear assembly, I assume, is all plastic to save weight, even though this is like more than 2 tons already. But still, in case this electronic tailgate fails, it's very easy to open up because it's going to be very light. And like before, it's primarily the same here with the boot space. So with all of the seats up, it's at 311 liters. And if you want to fold them, just pull these levers and it folds down that quickly. And with the third row down, it extends to 1,119 liters. And if you finally want to fold all of the seats down, the second row tumbles forward. By the way, it's at a whopping 2,183 liters, which is among the best ones in this class. And few toys here, you get tedding hooks on either side, ito with socket, and one halogen light. This you have to bear too. It's kind of slow, but hey, at least there still is.
2 hours later.
So apologies guys, we had to delay the shoot for a bit because sudden downpour, literally it rained so hard in this area. So again, please bear with me. But thank goodness there's so much light in here in the cabin because up above here you got halogen lights and a sunglasses holder. And you can see immediately the new additions with this facelifted MU-X. You get ambient light across. One nitpick though, you cannot change the color whatsoever. So naturally, I changed this to red. But anyway, the blue suits the character of this all-new Isuzu MU-X anyway. And the interior, again, subtle changes apart from the ambient light. The rest here is particularly the same. Like you get the same 10.1-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and the same old 360-degree camera. Yeah, it's kind of outdated now. So I wish this was another upgrade given to this newer model. But hey, at least there's still you still get the same altimeter and few safety bits here and there that you can access. But mostly, it's done here with this new 7-inch display right in the middle, flanked by 3 analog gauges, one for your tachometer, fuel meter, and the engine temperature. So all the stuff here in the middle you can see for your fuel economy and for your ADAS functions with this facelifted MU-X. And the rest, yeah, again, pretty the same. Here in the door card, get the same leather soft pads and white stitching here for your elbows, steering wheel, pretty chunky on the polyurethane side of things, but still very nice to the touch. Buttons here for your volume and phone connectivity stuff, and on the right side for adjusting once again the instrument cluster display and for your adaptive cruise control function. So I've tried this out already during with the older model, and I love the low speed function. So everything here is primarily the same, and again, same nitpick as before. Forward collision warnings a little bit too sensitive only for my liking, like to the point there's someone standing on the side of this front side of this car rather. The car will detect it and will go to a complete stop. So yeah, you have to watch out for that. But hey, at least the systems work. And further down the infotainment system, you get your dual zone climate control, and for your 360-degree camera, one of each Type A, Type C USB ports, a DVR slot, 12-volt socket, and a wireless charging pad. And center console, pretty much the same. You get blank buttons on either side. So you get for your hill descent control, electronic stability control, for your four-wheel drive system, and for your parking functions. Now you can see this one's a little bit of a letdown because there's so much blanks, even though this is already a top-of-the-line model. And for the four-wheel drive stuff, I'll just flash it here on screen on how this operates. It's your typical 4x4 SUV. Then here we have the glove box. Okay, pretty much the same like as before, just enough for your manuals as such. Dashboard and with your hazard button, I love that placement. Pretty much remains the same with the pre-facelift, along to with the black leather seats. Very nice, comfortable to sit in with enough bolstering, not to my surprise, since if for others, they're going to definitely off-road the hell out of this car. And cup holders here in the middle, and then center console box. Okay, pretty decent amount of space. And few more things here. On the left side, you get, again, more blanks, and then few buttons here for your tailgate functions and for your rear AC and a pop-out cup holder. So finally here, once again, in the second row of this Isuzu MU-X. So this is already my normal driving position. The space is actually really good, and headroom, I'm 5'4" only, so 6-footers will be fine here in the second row. And the door cards, pretty much the same like the ones in front. At least you still retain the ambient light here in the door handle and a small bit here. I know it's not enough, but oops. So at least you can see it just a bit here on camera. And again, above here, you get your halogen lights and controls for the air conditioning system all the way up to the third row itself. Then you get 2 map pockets on either side. Then here in the middle, you have a compartment here as such, along with 2 Type-C USB ports. And my favorite thing with most of the Isuzus, get a 4-kilogram hook here, right behind the driver's seat. At least it's in the correct position, not like some other Japanese brands. It's down here that makes it primarily useless. Then here you have a central armrest with 2 cup holders, and there's like even adjustments like for small ones, and then you can put big ones or make it act as a storage. That's what I like. I think this is a new bit too with this facelifted MU-X. And then if I sit here in the middle, there's a transmission tunnel, but it's really wide. You can put your feet up, and yeah, easy peasy. And finally, here in the third row of this Isuzu MU-X, this is one of the highlights because the third row is among one of the more spacious ones that I've encountered. I mean, this is my headroom. And remember, I think a 5'7" person can fit here easily. And look at this. My feet room and knee room, about that much. I can stretch all the way forward. So if you're planning to bring 7 or even 8 people on a long trip, I'm very much happy to sit here in the third row. Although, just watch out for the headrest. Extend it so your head's in a much better position. That's better. And few bits only here. You only get what? Cup holders, cubby spaces on either side. Seatbelt. Oh, seatbelt holder here too for the third row. Usually it's like for this one only here in the second row. And then you get air conditioning vents up above. And yeah, that's about it. Let's go for a drive.
Earlier that day.
Behind the wheel once again of this Isuzu MU-X, like before, the star of the show is this potent yet fuel-efficient 3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine. The power unit is tried and tested, and it's perfect for our driving conditions here in the Philippines. For once, let's start with the fuel economy. The worst I got was around 8.7 kilometers per liter. Remember, that's the worst. And that's with ridiculous traffic. But realistically, it really depends on how you drive this vehicle, if you're really heavy-footed or very light-footed. But on more realistic driving conditions, or better traffic rather, you can do as much as 9 to 10 kilometers per liter in the city, and on the highway at constant 100 kilometers per hour, you can manage 14 to 15 kilometers per liter, which is very impressive for a powerful and a very heavy vehicle. But around in the sweet spot of 80 to 90 kilometers per hour, you can hit as much as 16 to 17 kilometers per liter, which is, again, very impressive for a big car. As for the mixed driving conditions, you can do 12 kilometers per liter. And another impression with this 4x4 variant, that this fuel economy figures is the same ones that I got with the pre-facelifted 4x2 that I drove last year. So it really doesn't matter if you get the 4x4 or the 4x2 version. They're both fuel efficient in any way. As for the driving dynamics with this facelifted Isuzu MU-X, it remains particularly the same. Like example, the transmission tuning, despite being a 6-speed automatic transmission, it will tend to gear hunt. Like example, I'm around 30-40 kilometers per hour already. It's already at a third gear. And then if you want to flow it, there's a slight delay, but once you get going, you get really going. And that's what's impressive with this 3-liter turbocharged engine, is that there's so much good flow and torque with this. Like, to the point, at some paces around the edge, like you want to hit 60 kilometers per hour, immediately, 1/4 of throttle, you're already up to that speed. That's how good this engine is. And then as for the steering feel, yeah, it's still somewhat on the heavier side in terms only in the segment. But I got used to this power steering system already, having driven so much pickup and PPVs already by now. And it's not as bad as you once think. But what's different now for me is the ride. Where I said last year, it's a little bit on the stiffer side of things. And you'd be right. But having driven this now for more than a week now, I don't know why, I found this more pliant now than usual against the pre-facelifted 4x2 brand. So it literally may be down on the tire pressures only. It may be just down on your preference if it's just too stiff or a little bit more pliant now for your liking. As for the brakes though, it's still like on the longer side of things. It's a bit squishy here, like I'll do a full stop. But hey, at least they're still strong and they work, of course. Now with these small updates, it does come with a price though at 2,670,000 pesos. Yes, it is on the steeper side of things. But if you want something really dependable, reliable, and somewhat spacious SUV, look no further than this. And if there were literally a zombie apocalypse right now, don't marvel, zombies me, this is literally the car I would go for. And on that note, again, I'd like to thank Isuzu Philippines for lending me out this MU-X 4x4 one more time. I've always had fun with the Isuzu vehicles. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with more future Isuzu reviews coming right up. Bye-bye.